everyone, welcome back to the channel. For those who are new here, my name is Pippa and I've been working in the business analysis field for about a decade. So today I want to talk about something that we don't always hear when we're starting out in our BA careers: dealing with difficult people, challenging colleagues, difficult stakeholders, and how it can sometimes make you feel like you hate your job. So if you're new to business analysis or just starting to think about this career, you might have heard that BAs are all about bridging the gap, solving problems, and driving change. That's all true, but what's less talked about is the reality that sometimes things can get tough, like really tough. Okay, so you might feel undervalued, you might feel frustrated, sometimes you might even question whether this is the right path for you. Trust me, I've been there. I've worked with stakeholders who seemed impossible to please, colleagues who made me question whether I was good enough, and moments where I felt like walking away from everything business analysis, to be honest. But here's what I learned. These tough moments are part of the journey and they don't define your career. So in today's video, I'm sharing with you the 5 key lessons that have helped me turn those challenges around and begin to value my experiences and my career as a business analyst. Okay, so these lessons are especially for those of you who might be feeling overwhelmed or frustrated and not really know how to adapt or where to go. So the first lesson is adapt or fall behind. Okay, business analysis is a field that's always evolving. When you first start, it can feel like you're drowning in new information, but the trick is to stay ahead of everything, stay ahead of the curve by continuously learning and adapting. Okay, so whether it's mastering agile, learning about the latest tools, or honing your stakeholder management skills, you have to just try and be adaptable to the role. If this is really what you want to do, you just have to try and adapt, otherwise you'll be behind everybody else. Secondly, your work will often go unrecognized. Okay, as a BA, so much of our work happens behind the scenes, and it's easy to feel like you're not being acknowledged for all the work that you're doing, but that's normal. It doesn't mean your work doesn't matter. Okay, you have to find value in your own contributions, even if others don't see it right away. Yeah. So before I go into the next point, I wanted to mention something that really opened my eyes early on in my career as a business analyst: the Stanford prison experiment. Right? You might be wondering how a psychology experiment relates to business analysis, but please hear me out. So firstly, what is this Stanford prison experiment? It's an experiment that was conducted in 1971 by a psychologist called Philip Zimbardo. It was aimed to study the psychological effect of perceived power in a prison setting. So college students were assigned roles as either guards or prisoners in a simulated prison environment. Okay, so the experiment quickly went out of control. The guards became abusive and the prisoners started to show signs of severe stress. Bear in mind, this is just an experiment, right? The experiment was originally planned for 2 weeks, but it was halted after only, I think, 6 days due to the extreme behavior of the participants, right? The study highlighted the power of situational forces and authority in shaping behavior. Okay, it showed just how much power dynamics can influence behavior. So why am I really talking about this Stanford prison experiment? What does it have to do with difficult stakeholders? It does have a lot to do with it, because I feel like when authority comes to play, people forget to be humans. Right? Remember that this experiment, it was just an experiment, and the people that played the prison guards started to take on and enjoy that authority, right? And it started to become quite dangerous. And I remember in the prison experiment, they also had to wear these sort of glasses, you know, those glasses that reflect, so you can't really see their eyes. The prisoners couldn't see their eyes. It's a very, very interesting experiment that I looked at when I was doing my degree in psychology. So maybe you should explore it and know the story of that experiment and how it happened and what came about, right? But it was really, really interesting, and I kind of bring it to the business analysis context. So in the business analysis context, this fear of authority can come into play when we're dealing with senior stakeholders or leadership, like taking the place of the prisoners in this sense, right? So you might feel intimidated, you might feel hesitant to speak up, or even afraid to challenge certain decisions because of that fear of authority. But here's the thing, your role as a BA is crucial, because you're often that bridge between teams, between ideas, between solutions. Okay, so if you let that fear of authority to control you, you will really struggle to get your voice heard, right? And that's why my third point, never take feedback personally. This is so close to my heart as well. It's very important, especially when you're dealing with difficult stakeholders or team members. The team members one can be so painful, to be honest. They might criticize your work, but try to remember that it's not about you. It's about the project, it's about the process or the solution. So taking feedback as a tool to grow will change you, will change how you see things and these interactions with your colleagues. Okay, try to let go of that fear, and you'll find your place in even the most challenging conversations. Now, as you all know, I like to give examples of my real life experiences, and another reason why I thought about this Stanford's prison experiment was a while ago. I had a sort of negative interaction with a colleague, and this person is also a business analyst. So I had written a bunch of user stories, and then I had one day off work, and those user stories were handed over to this person just for that day because of time constraints and just to save you all the drama. But anyway, when I came back from my time off, we had a one-to-one to review what this person had done in the time that I was off, and that the person had a meeting and captured some new requirements, which obviously I'm taking back the stories. It's my piece of work, so I was going to go back and sort of bring up those user stories as well. So what I was trying to do was try to understand, and I remember the person was sharing screen, and then I was trying to confirm, and I always try to confirm details. Even if you're sharing screen and pointing at the screen, I repeat it, right? So I repeated a couple of things that the person was highlighting on the screen, and the person was so rude. And I'm like, where the hell did you come from? Did you drop from the sky from? Right? Sometimes you can take it personally, and sometimes that's my fault. Like, I kind of take things personally sometimes. But I was like, who do you think you are? you know? But I didn't say anything. It happened at least 3 times on that call, and one thing that I failed to do was record the call. It just wasn't, the person just wasn't, I guess, in a good mood that day. But what was my response to that? Rather than react, okay, what I did was type up an email, CC the manager, and mention that this person was quite dismissive on the call, and I wasn't able to gain the value that I have from the meeting because I wasn't going to continue the meeting in that way. But eventually the person apologized, but I think that person was just having a bad day. But it then brings me to another thing. If you're having a bad day as a colleague, I beg, please take the day off. Don't come and stress another person. Don't come and stress another person out, please. Like, you might be having a good day and somebody else having a bad day. Because you're having a bad day doesn't mean you should ruin someone else's good day. Okay? As much as I try to be professional, in a professional setting, at the end of the day, we're all humans, okay? All this work that we're doing, all this work that we're all delivering, don't take it too much to heart, please. We're all just delivering something to add value. It's not the end of the world, and we all have to collaborate to find that value that we want on our project. But that's just that one story I wanted to share with you guys. If you guys have similar stories to share who are also business analysts, I know that a lot of people have stories that I've heard also. Feel free to share in the comment section. It's good for us to just know that we're not alone, right? It really helps to know that we're not alone in these difficult situations in our career. But anyway, back to the video. So my fourth point is specialization. Specialization is your friend, right? So when I first started as a business analyst, I tried to learn everything, every tool, every framework, but I soon realized that focusing on my strengths was more rewarding. Okay, so for me, my strengths are process mapping, stakeholder management. So try to find your niche and lean into that niche, right? That possibly also applies to domain. You might want to focus on working on one particular industry, such as for me, insurance, which is where I focus on. It will help you to keep that confidence and to love your job more. Now, the fifth key tool is communication. Communication is your greatest tool as a business analyst. So whether you're dealing with a stakeholder that's hard to pin down or a colleague who's always negative, communication is what will set you apart. Okay, so learning to communicate clearly and effectively is the best tool you can have in your toolkit as a business analyst, right? But anyway, I hope those 5 key points have helped. So to all new business analysts out there, remember these 5 key things because they'll help you to navigate the challenges ahead. Okay, and remember, it's okay to feel frustrated sometimes, honestly, but your journey is about growth. It's not about perfection. Nobody is perfect, okay, and nobody knows it all. Right, that's it. So I'm going to say, to close off, if you've experienced difficult stakeholders or you felt like the world was against you in your career, please let me know in the comment section below. Let's talk about how we've all overcome these hurdles together. And as always, thanks for watching. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content on thriving in business analysis. I'll see you in my next one. Peace.